What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Life with Andy Mother. If you're new to this channel, hi, my name is Andy Mother, aka Mama Fabian, and I'd like to welcome you to the Life with Andy Mother familia. Woo! If you're new to this channel, make sure that you hit that subscribe button and join the gang. Today, guys, we are going to be discussing about the disadvantages of being a flight attendant or the cons of being a flight attendant. Yes, let me tell you guys, one thing you guys don't know is loneliness. It is such a lonely job in the sense that, of course, when you're traveling, you want to be traveling with your loved ones, you want to share like all these moments with your loved ones, but you're just there by yourself. And if you're not by yourself, you're with your colleagues. As in, it's a very, very lonely job. I won't lie to you guys. Like, there are times that you'll feel like you're just by yourself, and especially because you're going to be missing out on a lot. And when I say a lot, I mean a lot. You're going to be missing out on a lot of family events because your schedule doesn't allow you to like be as available as you'd want to be, because you don't have weekends, you don't have holidays. Ati kukwenda holiday when the holiday ati with everybody else. No, like even holidays are the most, how do I say it? Holidays are the most they're the most times when you work, because that's the time when business is booming. That's the time when people are flying to go meet their loved ones and stuff like that. So you get very lonely, and on top of loneliness, you miss out on a lot. Like, you'll be coming back home and people are telling you, hey, you didn't know this and this happened, like. And then on top of that, utakuwa tu na receive vitu kwa mtandao, unaona vitu kwa mtandao, and you just like, kai, like, when did this happen? Oh my goodness. And then unakuja hiyo time umetoka a long flight, like you've been out of the country for a while, you find, like maybe an event you wanted to go to has already happened and stuff like that. Another thing is jet lag, guys, and fatigue. You get really exhausted. I remember when I went back to work after COVID, I was exhausted. Like, for the first 2 months, all I would do is sleep, sleep, sleep. And on top of sleep, I would just like, how do I say it? Like, I had zero energy to do anything, because one day you're in Nairobi, the next day you're in Cape Town, the next day you're in Dubai. These places are like different hours. So there's that thing called time. Yeah, and not everywhere has like the same GMT as Kenya. So you find you get really exhausted. I remember the first time I started doing now like European flights and stuff like that. Like, I used to come home and feel so disoriented, and I'm just like, what the hell? Like, what the hell is happening here? Like, Nataka, I just want to sleep, but I feel like you just find a way of dealing with it, but it takes a really big toll on your body, because now you end up, the chances of you getting sick are really high, because now your body is being exposed to different climates, different weathers and stuff like that. So you find yourself being very vulnerable to diseases, being very vulnerable to like stuff like having low vitamin D, because you're barely out in the sun, you're always in the aircraft, so you always have to make a point to sunbathe and do stuff like that. Like, guys, it's crazy. I haven't even talked about this, should have been my first point. Death. Guys, as much as air transport is the safest transport ever, the safest mode of transport, every time you get on that aircraft, it's like, okay, let me just let me just say goodbye to people. Not as in you don't really think like something bad is going to happen, but it's like the most unpredictable um, thing, because most of the times things that cause accidents is stuff to do with the weather, and you can't even control weather. Nobody can control weather. Like, when Mother Nature decides, Mother Nature has decided. So you just find yourself like you're at the mercy of your prayers, and at the mercy of like being able to accept that this might be my last day doing this job, this might be my last day seeing my son, this might be my last day seeing my family and stuff like that. Like, of course it's not going to happen, and you always pray that something like that never happens, but you can never tell, you can never be too sure. And then on top of that, you get on an aircraft and you don't know the type of people you're going to find there. You don't know if you're going to find a hijacker, a terrorist on the aircraft. You don't know if you're going to find someone who wants to hurt you, because as crew, like, you're at the center line, you're at the front, like everybody is looking to you, so you don't know, like, chances of somebody going crazy and going off on you are really high. So it's a matter of, like, okay, you always have to take care of yourself. You always have to make sure, like, you're in the best what is it called, you've protected yourself in the best way possible. Another thing is chances of you getting out of touch with reality are really high. Ask me why. Guys, we're in different countries every other day, every other single day, we're in different countries. So you can imagine, umetoka hapa London, aya ukuje home, urudi urest for like one day, umalize, ndo huyo wewe uko wapi, uko New York, umalize, ndo huyo wewe uko wapi, like, the people that you're interacting with are the people who are on the aircraft, and the things that you're seeing, like, around the world are like, oh my god, like, this is how people are living, this is how life is supposed to be lived, and stuff like that. And then you come back home and that's not what, like, your life is. Like, you find yourself living in such a fantasy because you're seeing so many things that you've never seen before. You're seeing so many you're experiencing so many different cultures at the same time. You're meeting totally different people on the aircraft at the same time. So you start feeling like, hey, like, now this is my life, like, this is how my life is going to be. Like, you pass by Gucci stores, you pass by Louis V stores, you're like, yes, like, this is what life is about and stuff like that. And then you come home and you try and live that lifestyle only to realize, like, that is not actually your life, and you have to get back to be real with yourself. So chances of you getting out of touch with reality are pretty high. They're not impossible, but they're there. Like, it's quite a thing where you find yourself, like, living, like, trying to live a life that is not yours just because of what you've been exposed to. And then we have things like self-esteem issues, like weight. You always have to be the right weight. You always have to look your best because, of course, like, as much as people don't like to say it, cabin crew really focuses a lot on your looks. Like, being a flight attendant is all about how you look, because that is what people see when they first enter the aircraft. That is what people, like, associate that specific airline to. They're like, hey, hii airline inakwanga na mademu wasupu, wanajua kupaka makeup, wanajua kufanya hivi, unaelewa vitu kama hizo. So you always have to look your best. That means you always have to take care of your body. You always have to, make sure that your makeup is on point. And there are people who are naturally born, like, big bodied, so you can't be telling somebody to lose weight, yeah, and you're naturally hippie, and then I come on the aircraft and I find there's somebody else who's skinnier than me, and then now I start, like, it's the same aspect as modeling, basically. Like, there are jobs you can't do because you're a certain size, so you try as much as possible to fit into that size just so that you can get that specific job. And of course, in the end, you end up finding yourself losing yourself in the process, and you end up, like, forgetting who you are in the process. Basically, you start questioning, like, am I even supposed to be here? Am I supposed to be doing this and all that? As in, oh my god. Anyway, so guys, another thing we have is, I think this is, like, one of my last points. People perceive you to be easy, or they perceive you to be, like, quote unquote, like, a blonde, like, you don't know anything, like, you just came here because of how you look. Imagine you're being told you need to look good, and then you look good, and then you're being told, like, the only reason you got hired is because you look a certain way, or because of, like, stuff like that. So it becomes another story to be able to prove yourself that that's not who you are, or to prove the fact that not all crew can be, not really not all crew, but, like, cabin crew, just because you're a cabin crew doesn't mean, like, you're allowed to do things that you want to me, or you can talk to me, like, openly in a sexual way. Like, you have to give me, like, my respect and stuff like that. So it becomes hard to be able to to make people believe like your job is not just all about looking pretty and stuff like that. Like you also have other things that you're doing, and coming through, they're actually really, really smart people. So guys, those are just a few points I thought I should let you know, not to discourage you from the job, but just to show you that every job has its own downsides. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell button so that you can receive a notification every time that I post a new video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to live, love, be anything that you want to be. Bye guys.